So according to many online resources, the Dell XPS 13 is often ranked as the #1 best Windows laptop. Many people consider this to be the benchmark, the standard that all other laptops should be benchmarked against. And they just came out with two new models, a 14 and 16-inch version. This complements the existing 13, 15, and 17-inch models. And if I had to guess, in the future, they're probably going to consolidate the line into just the 14 and 16-inch version. So I think it's worth taking a look into these new machines, see what they're all about. Aside from just the size, these are a pretty significant upgrade. And then finally, I want to compare these new laptops against what I think is an even better alternative within the same space. But getting right into this, the new XPS 14 and 16 have the same modern design that the recent versions of the XPS are becoming famous for. And the overall laptop, due to the extremely thin bezels, is very compact in dimension for the size display that you're getting. Although this feature isn't as unique as it was originally a couple of years ago. It seems like this feature has been mostly adopted by other companies at this point. But internally is where the XPS 14 and 16 are different, because they're featuring the latest Intel Core Ultra processors and an optional RTX graphics card. So coming to the official website here, the new XPS 14 begins at a price of $1,699. Certainly not a budget machine. These are more of a MacBook alternative, meaning that they're slender, portable, they look good, and they have good performance, although not quite the same levels as a dedicated gaming laptop. The XPS 13 is a little bit cheaper at $1,399. And the 16, $1,899. If you click into the new XPS 14, the only processor to choose from here is the Ultra 7, the 155H model. Now, I'm not the biggest fan of Intel, generally speaking. In terms of nanometers, they are behind AMD, and the cooling, the thermal management has never been class leading with Intel chips. But to give them credit, this newest line of chips seems to have brought them more up to speed with the competition. In particular, this is pretty comparable to the AMD Ryzen Z1 Extreme, as well as the Ryzen 7 7840U chip. But if you plan on doing any kind of heavy gaming on this machine, I would certainly recommend to opt for the optional RTX 4050 GPU for an extra $400. That brings the total price to $2,100 before taxes. For light gaming, the iGPU is probably enough, but again, anything serious, especially if you want to take advantage of the higher resolution display, you would want the RTX 4050. And speaking of the display, by default, it's 14.5 inches, 1920 by 1200. Although the big selling point with the XPS lineup is the beautiful OLED display, which is an additional $300, bringing the total price tag, if you opt for this as well as the RTX 4050, to $2,400. If we take a look at the slightly smaller XPS 13 model, we have the same Ultra 7 CPU, no option for a dedicated GPU, and we lose the option for the OLED display. And then finally, the more expensive XPS 16, we have an option between the 450, 460, and 4070. So a lot more optionality with the bigger machine. So keeping the price and the specifications in mind, I want to compare these quickly against the HP Omen Transcend 14. This is a new offering from HP, and I think for most people, this is going to satisfy the same role as the XPS laptops, but be a better deal. So there's two versions. If we click into this model right here, the starting price tag normally is $1,500, but as of right now, there appears to be a sale. It's only $1,279. Just like with the XPS lineup, we have the new Ultra 7 processor, the exact same model, 155H, plus the RTX 4050 dedicated GPU. The big difference here is that this is included at this price tag. It's not an additional upgrade. The RTX 4050 is what comes at the base model. Another super nice feature that comes in the base model is the OLED display. The resolution here is 2.8K, which I think is a little bit less than the XPS, but regardless, this is a phenomenal display, 2.8K OLED, 120 Hz, and it's standard at this base price. Again, $1,279. $279. And the physical construction, the design here, I'll admit it's probably not as refined as the XPS line, but we have thin bezels. The overall construction has tight tolerances. The overall thinness and the weight is similar to the XPS lineup. This is not some kind of huge, thick gaming laptop. And the display here is 14 inches, so it's that same general size as well. And finally, this laptop does have add-ons. You can make it even better, and it really comes down to just the GPU. So again, the 4050 is standard, but you can upgrade to the 4060 for just an additional $70, or you can go up to the 4070, same as offered in the 16-inch version of the XPS line, for an additional $570. You guys can feel free to let me know your thoughts in the comments below, tell me why I'm wrong, but in my estimation, really any way you slice it, this HP Transcend 14 is just a better deal than the current XPS lineup. I think the only area XPS is better is with the design, and it's only a marginal difference. Here we get the same exact specifications, but we get a lot more standard features at a cheaper price point. So I'll go ahead and leave both these laptops linked below the video. If you guys enjoyed, leave a like, subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one.